Welcome back to Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch. It is October the 1st, 2016, and I figured I'd do a little bit of this and a little bit of that today. So here I am looking at my Honeycrisp apple tree, and I was hoping that Bill out in Hawaii could tell me what that black spot is right there on that branch. Whether that's some kind of fungus or whether that's just something normal. What it feels like is it's kind of rough and raised a little bit, like it's a scab on, almost feels like it's a scab that's covering a sore. But like I said, it's all black and everything, so I don't know if I should cut this branch off, prune it off, or whether just to leave it alone and it's okay. So hopefully, Bill, you can let me know about that, buddy. Appreciate it. The Japanese beetles once again did a number on this Honeycrisp apple tree this year, and but I was able to salvage it and do a little bit better this year than I did last year. You can still see some of the skeletonized leaves of from where they did the damage, but I was able to save some of them. Anyways, I was just going through here and I was looking at the potential fruiting spurs for next year, and it's a little bit harder to see right now, but I was able to pick out a few and see, well, these look like they could be ready to go next year, but who knows. This tree has not fruited yet, or hasn't blossomed yet, but we'll see. This branch right here that my hand is going on, this one is growing up and into the middle of the tree, and that's definitely one thing you want to not have. So it's got to go, and there it is. So that's just something I came across today, because it's growing up in the middle and you want to keep your middle open as much as possible. So I decided to take that out, and there'll be more pruning done in later on. You see, I have some of the branches with a little bit of rope pulling them apart from the center a little bit. You got the central leader growing up that way. Some of these bigger branches getting pulled down with a rope tied to another tree out that way. So, it is what it is. We'll see how these trees go. I'm still trying to find a apple tree that will be blooming around the same time that this Honeycrisp will, so that I can get some flowers to be pollinated. The Fuji apple tree thus far has blooms too soon, about maybe 2 weeks or so before. Maybe as it gets older, maybe some of the blossoms will, they won't all bloom at one time. They'll bloom maybe over a longer period of time, and maybe that'll cross over into the time where the first flower blossoms on the Honeycrisp will start to bloom, if that makes any sense. But I have this Jonathan apple tree that I'm hoping will do the same. I just laugh because look what I just discovered something. Oh my gosh, look at that. Holy cow, a little baby apple growing on the tree. Sorry about that. That's just funny. I just noticed that. So this is definitely a self-pollinating tree, the Jonathan is, and I believe the Fuji apple is also. But oh my gosh, that's hilarious. Obviously, it's not going to make it to maturity before the first frost hits, but that is interesting. So anyways, I'm hoping that this Jonathan apple tree will, bloom at the same time the Honeycrisp will. It's hard to find, because you read online and everything, and people tell you, or websites say, oh yes, this will bloom around this time, and oh yes, this will bloom around that time, and this is a great cross pollinator for this tree and that tree. And so you buy those trees, and then you come to find out that, well, not necessarily. Because you get it in your environment, in your zone, growing zone, and it's not necessarily the same as what they're putting on their websites. Because you can put an apple tree in zone 5 and it doesn't do the same as what it might do in zone 7 or zone 8. So, but I noticed when I picked up this Jonathan apple tree at the nursery that it was blooming later than what my Fuji apple tree was. So I figured, well, hopefully it's later enough that it'll be blooming at the same time that the Honeycrisp is. Okay, so hopefully that'll be the case. Hopefully. So we'll see. So moving on. Oh, and just real quick, there's the Fuji apple tree right there. That's the one that had some fire blight in it. Now the Honeycrisp did get a little bit of fire blight, even though it didn't blossom. I guess it could transfer from one tree to another, even though, because most fire blight gets in there when it's blooming. So, but we'll see. Anyhow, the trunk on that tree, on this Fuji apple tree, is getting nice and thick. I can really tell a difference. That Honeycrisp apple tree trunk back there is still kind of skinny and everything. It's not getting as quite as thick and everything. So we'll see, but I can definitely tell some girth on that trunk. Now let's move on to my project here, my potential future business that I'm working on. Now, a few weeks ago, or a few videos ago, I was showing you and saying that, hey, I got these special seeds that this one particular company has a patent on. So they're the only ones who sell it at this point in time on these special kind of lettuce seeds. Okay. So I bought some and everything, and these particular lettuce here, Salanova lettuce, I put that in the ground about maybe 2 weeks ago, and I can really tell it's taken off. The green variety seems to be doing better than the purple variety. A little bit faster growth, more leaves and everything. So this is part of my experiment. So I think I started these by seed and little tray cells, I think early August, maybe something like that. And then when they got big enough, to come out, I think I planted them about September. I transplanted them about September 20th. So anyhow, so I have this. So this seems to be growing pretty good. And today I just finished planting the rest of my. As you can see, they are nowhere near as big as the other ones right now. Okay, but I just popped them out of the tray cells and put them out here. So this part of the yard is going to get less and less light as we get further on. So hopefully I'm going to be able to get some of these to maturity, especially these ones right up here, get them to maturity and then harvest them. I'm going to come in about 1.5 inches or so above the soil line and cut the leaves off. And then I'm going to make a salad mix of some kind and take some samples to some restaurants and things like that and see if they like it, and potentially make some contacts and possibly start up a business. And these are supposed to grow again. If you cut them about 1.5 inches above the soil line, they're supposed to grow again and give you a second harvest and possibly a third. Hopefully I have enough time, and hopefully these will start to do good in in the shade, but getting a lot of ambient light as we get further into the fall. So no schmoopy, I see you. You're not getting any of this lettuce over here, Bubba. Where's your partner in crime, Shadow, huh? Alright, so that's what's going on here, and it's doing pretty good. The experiment's coming along, and we'll see how things do. Now, and also a little side experiment, it wasn't necessarily intentional, But with this particular row right here, going to be more into the shade sooner than just this little bit over here, it's going to give me a chance to see how will this grow well in more ambient light and less direct sunlight. Holy Toledo, what is he doing? He's trying to get out. He is trying to get out. Uh-oh, he fell. I guess I'm going to have to fix that. Little booger. Yeah, you better stay down there. Messing up my garden video. Or adding entertainment to it, I don't know. There's your partner in crime, Shadow, right there. You better get down. Get down. I guess I'm going to have to zip tie that. Because he's going to probably pop himself and crawl right out now. Little booger. You are trying to get out of there, aren't you? Oh, well. Carrying on. So, anywho, folks. Break over. So, here's what's left of my tomato plants. I still got tomatoes growing and whatnot. And, you know, a lot of times I get, you know, I got brand new flower blossoms and everything all over this place. So, you know, got some up there. I just don't have a whole lot of luck with the tomato plants. I can get them to grow, but then either diseases or generally animals come and get all my tomatoes and I get nothing. So the rest of what I've been doing here in the garden is I've been harvesting up every single one of my pumpkins except for one. I had one pumpkin that fell off the stem the other day. I don't know what happened. It just come out there and there was the pumpkin detached itself from the stem. I don't know why, but it did. So I came in here and I cleaned out the pumpkin plant out here because it was not producing anything and it was just occupying space. Now, here's my Thai basil and you can see these gorgeous flowers on them. But again, you know, I want to pop them off because I don't want... I want to keep producing leaves. There goes Schmoopy trying to climb up it again. He's starting to get brave. He's starting to figure things out. Probably trying to go get my lettuce. I'm going to have to definitely zip tie things up there for sure. But still got some peppers going on. Purple bell peppers. And... so I'm doing, this is going pretty good, I guess. You know, I've been debating about ripping these tomato plants out and everything, but in exchange for trying to make room for, you know, my kale and other leafy greens for the fall. I've had to pull out a couple pepper plants because they look diseased. And there he goes again. Look at that little booger. Just trying to get out. So other than that, not a whole lot's going on. We've had a lot of rain. I transplanted some pepper plants out here, put a bunch of them in here, and this will go in the grow light as it gets closer to frost. But this is kind of experiment to see how close I can pop these in, how close I can plant them together in this one big pot here, and see how they do. I already got one little bell pepper growing right there, and you can see the last of my pumpkins is growing right there. And I chopped off the vine a little bit past the pumpkin so that it forces more of the energy into growing the pumpkin instead of the vine. So other than that, a lot of powdery mildew. I sprayed it with a fungicide, copper fungicide, nothing else really going on still. So just been doing a lot of cleaning up in the garden today, and like I said, planting out my lettuce and things like that. And so goji berry is still going. They're still producing. I think still got some little purple flowers and stuff there, and a little red goji berry right there. We'll see how these strawberries do next year. Like I said, this is an experiment. I don't know if this is going to work. I planted these strawberries as bare root plants back in the spring, or late winter to early spring, and then I transplanted them out here, and they of course have flourished, but you know, I wasn't expecting any fruit, and I really didn't get much of anything. They flower here and there, but next year I'm hoping that this is really going to give me a bunch of flower blossoms. We'll see. If they don't, then I'm just going to rip all these strawberry plants out of here, because they're doing nothing but occupying space if they're not going to give me anything, you know. And that way it'll free me up to grow more things in here. And you know, I've cleaned out that pumpkin bed. I used to have the pumpkins in there. That's all cleaned out. I'm going to revitalize it a little bit, and then I'll be able to start planting my onions in there. So that's the plan. Alright, so from Pittman's Pumpkin Patch, Pittman's Garden Patch, if you have any questions or comments, please post them down below. Alright, thank you for tuning in. Bye.